courts here.
For Liberty University men's tennis coach Derek Schwandt, the game of tennis has been an integral part of his life from an early age.
I started at 6 years old. My parents were in the, John McEnroe, Jimmy Connors, and then that turned into the Sampras Agassi and Chang era. So I kind of grew up with them. They were tennis junkies, bringing me out to the court. Played junior tennis. Parents took me all over the place to play tournaments, all over the country.
Schwandt's early introduction to the sport, in addition to a great support system and his skills on the court, would help him have a successful career in college and eventually take him all over the world.
After college, the fire was in the belly to see how far I could go with tennis. I had a goal and a dream of becoming a professional player and to see how high I could reach in the professional ranks. For about 3 years, I traveled around the world playing futures tournaments, and I absolutely loved it.
Making it in pro tennis is a difficult path, and after a few years, as his playing career began to wind down, Schwandt would find himself in a new role, as that of a coach. But making that transition from player to coach didn't come easy.
First coaching job was at University of Virginia. I was 25. My whole life up to that point was about me. I was doing it for myself. How good can I be? Tennis was my God. And then when I started coaching, it becomes about everyone else. How am I going to impact all of these gifted Division I athletes? And really, I had no ground to stand on except I believed in working hard as a tennis player. I love the game. But if you're talking about coaching, it goes much deeper than skills, tactics, and players know who you are as a person. They know how you live off the court. And really, my tank was totally empty when it comes to things outside of tennis. When I needed to relax or needed to take a break or needed to enjoy myself, I would go party, get drunk, to try to look for satisfaction in relationships. And so at the time, I thought that was fun. I really embraced that. That continued for a while into my mid-20s. And the further it went, the less fun, the less fulfilling, struggled with serious consequences of that lifestyle.
As he continued to search for purpose beyond himself, Derek would sink deeper into darkness, to the point that he even considered taking his own life.
That was my life up until 30. When I got the job at Georgia Tech as an assistant, I turned totally empty. That was the kind of the end of my journey. I knew that I needed help. I couldn't save myself, couldn't help myself. I had no peace. I knew that I wasn't truly a good example for the players. I knew that. I became depressed, empty, no confidence in myself. I was really a mess, a total mess, and I knew it. I was so low that a thought crossed my mind that, man, it would just be easier if I died than to live like this, feeling like this. I was miserable, and I was looking to anything. I was doing yoga, I was reading Buddhism. With all these things I was pursuing, it was kind of like bandage myself up for a little while, and then I would fall back into the same mistake. That's where I was, and when I arrived in Atlanta, I was surrounded by strong Christian men. I recognized a peace, a joy, a light that these four guys had. They had a peace. They had a peace, a joy. They had things that I knew I didn't have. So I was attracted to, man, how can these guys be so consistent? They have great families. They really care for people. Maybe I should look into this Christian life. Maybe I should ask some questions. Maybe I should read about it.
A few months later, one of those men invited him to Easter celebration at his church, and that was when Derek found the true lifeline that he had been looking for.
Whenever the preacher would read from the Word, I felt God talking directly to my heart, and I said, man, this is different, this is real. And at the end of the service, the preacher said, hey, if anyone wants to follow Jesus, I want you to stand up right now. So in that moment that that I stood up to receive Jesus, I was different. I had power, I had forgiveness. And from one moment to the next, I was a new man. And I woke up in the next morning and all the guilt and shame and weight that I was carrying, gone. And I went from feeling like I had nothing really to give to these athletes I was coaching, to feeling like I had everything, the best thing in the world to share with them, which was the gospel and the word of God, a new life. God really was using these things to grow me. And in 2016, I met my wife in Atlanta. And God brought us up to Liberty. And it's been, the best thing that's ever happened to me. Only by God, only by His power, by His Spirit in me.
And now, here at Liberty, Derek is coaching with a bigger purpose, a Christ-focused mindset that impacts the way he sees his athletes and the way he sees the game of tennis.
Go to his backhand.
He's a servant leader. He's always someone that helps me center things back to Christ.
Tennis is great. We're all here to become better in tennis. It's fun to play, to compete as a team. But this is a thing we get to do together for a few years. It's not gonna last forever. It's temporary. Let's talk about what lasts. Let's talk about your disciplines off the court. Jesus says, I'm the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father but through me. Let's talk about that.
So it's Jesus and his 11 disciples.
We like to bring the guys over to the house for meals, bring my family over to the courts so they get a chance to see how we interact.
Oh, there is. You have to
Definitely don't want to force anything on our players, but we believe in being open, transparent. Guys, this is what we'll base our life on. The Word of God. This is what happened to me. This was my experience. So that's where I would start.